It's a car that's been with him since college, and Dick Young's 1960 Corvette has seen its share of good and bad days.
I drove it the first year at college. I parked it on the street. My apartment didn't have enough parking for it, and between leaking oil and using oil, it leaked enough oil I could find it by tracking the spots in the street.
Even with its share of problems, Dick stuck with his Corvette, and after a couple of years sitting in a garage, he decided to bring the car back to life, which meant one fix led to another, and eventually he decided to strip it all the way down to the frame and repaint the car one more time.
Somebody finally convinced me I should do the frame off, so I took the frame off in a garage similar to this with open rafters. I looped rope around the body in two places, used a floor jack, raised it, and tightened the rope, raised the other end, tightened the rope, raised the first end, tightened the rope, and then slid with the floor jack, slid the frame and chassis out from underneath it.
That turned out to be a decision he would later regret. After a month of working on and off on the car, Dick opened his garage to a not-so-pleasant surprise.
The rafter broke when the door was opened, and everything fell on top of the car. And on the rear end bounced, didn't break anything, but it took all day to get the stuff picked up. And by that time, the rope slid and actually split in a seam, a glued seam up through this area, and that's the only major accident the car's ever had, sitting in a garage.
So with his prized Vette now in boxes, it was back to square one. And after a few years of restoring the car and working on the body in his spare time, Dick turned his baby over to a professional painter in the mid-90s, but he didn't get it back until the next decade.
I actually loaded it on a trailer and took it to Detroit. Told them, you know, just give me the best rate you can, I don't want it. And it took him 7 years to finish it.
Fast forward to 2003, and Dick's Corvette was finally ready to get back on the road. To celebrate the occasion, he did something that most car guys would never dream of. I
rolled it's probably illegal, the odometers used to roll them back. Well, I rolled this one forward. It was in the low 90s, mid 90s, I don't remember the number. I rolled it to 99999, so the first tank of gas rolled over zero, and it's now like 9,200 miles. I've driven it as a second new car.
Do you have people in your Corvette club that say, why have you even driven it that many miles? I mean, there are the restorers who do it as a museum piece, and then there are those who enjoy it.
Yeah, I did it to enjoy it. You know, it was my car. My car as a young man, and I wanted to drive it. It drives much better than it did then. It's in better condition than it was when I was headed on the road originally.
To say Dick and his Corvette have had a rocky road would be an understatement, but now that the oil isn't leaking and the car looks like it did on day one, it's all about enjoying this classic that's taken him on quite a ride.
When you drive anywhere, it's like a one-man parade. You know, everybody waves at you. You know, it's not just Chevy people, Ford people, Porsche people, 1 and 2 thumbs up. You don't see chrome like that in a new car.